The 9th of November 2017, Formula One CEO Chase Carey has responded to criticisms made by Ferrari Chairman Sergio Marchionne, and has insisted that Liberty Media has no desire to turn the sport into NASCAR. Liberty is working on several plans to boost F1's appeal, including support for smaller teams and making the 2021 power unit simpler, cheaper and louder. However, Marchionne expressed concern over the potential direction of Formula One, quipping, "I don't want to play NASCAR globally," and suggesting that Ferrari could walk away post-2020. Speaking upon the release of Liberty Media's Q3 results, Carey stressed that such an approach is not in the corporation's interests, and expanded on its stance. "I actually don't think we have a differing view to Ferrari," said Carey. "I'm not trying to be derogatory towards NASCAR, but we don't plan to be NASCAR either. We don't want to standardize the cars, we don't want 20 identical cars going around the track and the only difference is the driver. Formula One is unique and it marries up competitive sport to state-of-the-art technology. We want all the teams to do what they do, create cars that are unique to them, unique engines to them, unique bodies to them. But we want it to be dependent more on how well you spend your resources within some constraints versus how much you spend. Then I think that's a healthier sport." Carey's comments were echoed by Liberty Media President and CEO Greg Maffei, who commented, "NASCAR is heading towards up to 40 races alone in the US. There is no sense of exclusivity, no sense of uniqueness. Everything that we're trying to do, and Chase and his team is trying to do, is build on that exclusivity, and build on that excitement. I think we're far more aligned with the goals that some of the teams have expressed publicly than maybe they understand." Latest news: 2029 F1 2027 F1 2022 McLaren Stoffel Vandoorne enthused over the team's long-run performance during practice for the Brazilian Grand Prix. F1 1953 George Russell hailed a huge step-up as he made his Formula One weekend debut during practice for the Brazilian Grand Prix at F1 1857. Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas expressed optimism over Mercedes' start to the Brazilian Grand Prix after the pair finished. F1 1830 Ferrari driver Sebastian Vettel has admitted that Mercedes will be tough to beat at the Brazilian Grand Prix, given the pace. F1 1742 KTM rider Pol Espargaro will start MotoGP season-ending Valencian Grand Prix from the pit lane after exceeding his engine. MotoGP 1735 F1 1733 Lewis Hamilton remained at the top of the times during Friday's second practice session for the Brazilian Grand Prix, ahead of F1 1624 Toro Rosso's Pierre Gasly is set to receive a further 15 places worth of grid penalties for the Brazilian Grand Prix, bringing F1 1545 F1 1500 officials at Zandvoort have released findings into the feasibility of the circuit hosting a Dutch Grand Prix in the future. F1 1424 Formula One CEO Chase Carey says Liberty Media has made a good start in its first year in charge of the sport, but insists there. F1 1404 Ducati's Jorge Lorenzo set the quickest time during the second practice session for the final round of the MotoGP season at MotoGP 1334 F1 1332 Formula One champion Lewis Hamilton set the pace during Friday's first free practice session for the Brazilian Grand Prix. From F1 1256 MotoGP 1234 Red Bull's Daniel Ricciardo and Toro Rosso pair Pierre Gasly and Brendan Hartley are set to be hit with 10-place grid penalties. F1 1144 F1 1058 Daniel Ricciardo and Max Verstappen try the Afro-Brazilian martial art of capoeira with Red Bull athlete Arthur Fiu and his team. F1 1026 Lewis Hamilton says he will not let his focus slip over the final two rounds of the season, with the 2017 title secure, vowing. F1 0950 Suzuki's Andrea Iannone led the way during the opening practice session for the final round of the MotoGP season at Valencia's MotoGP 0812 Sebastian Vettel says he is determined to maximize the final two races of the season as he slowly gets over the big. F1 0622 Bernie Ecclestone offers his views on Liberty Media's takeover of Formula One, the changes made so far and new CEO Chase Carey, in F1 2032 F1 2030 Formula One CEO Chase Carey has responded to criticisms made by Ferrari Chairman Sergio Marchionne, and has insisted that Liberty, F1 1801 Oliver Turvey, McLaren's test and development driver, talks about his simulator role and how the world's fastest gamer, F1 1718 all drivers are on the brink of an engine-related penalty with 2 rounds remaining, if they have not received one already. F1 1542 Formula Renault Eurocup champion Sacha Fenestre says he will move into either Formula 3 or GP3 next season, after joining the FR 2.0 1512 Force India would surprise rivals if Formula One introduces a budget cap in the future, given its current level of performance. F1 1502 go on a virtual on-board lap at the Autodromo José Carlos Paes, venue for the Brazilian Grand Prix, with Red Bull driver Max. F1 1419 Tech 3 has confirmed that Jonas Folger has been diagnosed with a strain of Gilbert syndrome, a genetic disorder which results. Motor 1400 Felipe Massa says he expects to compete elsewhere in 2018, after announcing his decision to retire from Formula One at the end of F1 1257. Red Bull's team physiotherapist, John Hammond, talks fitness, food and physiotherapy in the high-tech, fast-moving world of F1 1115. MotoGP governing body, the FIM, has confirmed the 24 by-country list for the 2018 championship. While the identities of the Moto 1101 Valtteri Bottas has made clear that he will not settle for being a number 2 to Lewis Hamilton at Mercedes moving forward, as F1 0959 Ducati will field a third bike for tester Michel Pirot at this weekend's MotoGP finale at Valencia's Ricardo Turmo circuit. MotoGP 0802 Aprilia will run a special paint scheme for this weekend's MotoGP season finale at Valencia, in support of AIDS charity Red. MotoGP 0554 Ferrari looks ahead to this weekend's Brazilian Grand Prix, the penultimate round of the season, and analyzes the key challenges. F1 1613 Jorge Lorenzo has emphasized that he still has substantial improvements to make with Ducati, as he prepares to cap his first MotoGP